Welcome to Heathen's Garage. We gotta fix what we broke on the Jeep before Miles of Mayhem. So, just to address the elephant in the room, we are not in our normal workspace. We are actually in the garage, which I don't think I've hardly ever worked out of before, mostly because it's full of junk. Well, it was full of junk. I took a load to the dump, and that helped. But anyways, we're in the garage today because we got a special project going on in the barn, which you guys will be a part of and you'll get to see, but not today, because we're working on this today. That was a long-winded way of saying what I wanted to say. We want to put these in. So if you guys watch a Drumheller race video, you'll know that we blew both header gaskets out of it. It is pretty loud that way and it doesn't make near as much boost. So we got a set of these. These are the Remflex, hyper expensive deals, but supposedly they work. So since I've had no end of issues with header gaskets in this thing, we're going to try them. That's stage one of this repair. After we get these header gaskets in, we need to drive the thing, do some actual data logging because I've yet to make that work properly. And then we got to figure out if the transmission's hurt or not, because it did not want to shift manually on the 1-2. It'll shift and drive at like 4,000 RPM, but it kind of just stayed in first gear. And then we buzzed it to the rev limiter, and it just stayed at the rev limiter until you let off the throttle, and then it would shift. Which I think is better than neutraling between gears, but I don't really know what it means.
Elvis, are you okay? Or are you just laying there like that? Just having the sun, eh? What about you, Luna? What are you doing?
First things first, we gotta get rid of this pipe. Now when I pull this off, you'll notice I didn't bother putting a bead roll on anything. Well, I didn't have a bead roller, so I didn't. And then what I found out was it's holding 10 pounds quite nicely without a bead roller. So why would I use the bead roller? Maybe I'll regret that choice someday, but Well, that one does have a bead. So does this one. Those are both factory ones. It's just this pipe that doesn't. Never mind, it's got one on. Oh, maybe this is why it's not a problem. Oh, this one doesn't have a bead. There. Apparently there's only actually 2 spots that don't have a bead roll. Maybe that's why it stays together. Size are these? 7/16? No. They're small. The good news is I found a wrench. The bad news is it's such high quality that they don't even put a brand name on it. I just saw a header bolt that has backed itself all the way out. That's not good. Did that back itself out or did I never tighten it? It's not even started anymore. So apparently there wasn't just one bolt that was missed. There's actually 2 bolts that were missed. And I definitely believe me missing 1 bolt. That sounds like me. But I wouldn't have missed 2. And also this wouldn't have stayed sealed up for 300 or 400 kilometers worth of driving if it had 2 bolts loose. So I think I need more thread engagement and maybe some goo on the thread so it doesn't walk itself out. I'm guessing that's what happened. My next question to myself is, did I retorque these or did I just forget? Because I think I might have just forgot. And headers do like to be retorqued. Boy, this is awkward to get to, eh? Oh, these are all loose. No wonder it leaked. Probably could have tightened these up and had some success, but I've spent all the money on Remflex gaskets, so we're pulling them now. Off you go, header. Oh, it's really against there, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Boy, I'm lucky I didn't just break off a plug. So this one appears to have been sealing. This one is completely torched, and this one is completely torched. Diagnosis complete on that. This is a regular, it isn't even blown out, it's that thick, okay? This is a Remflex. Now, the reason why they seal is also the reason why I'm having trouble. Because now it's pushed the header out away from the engine, but that also brought it up on that head stud that has been shaved down. Now I just got to massage that down a little bit, and then we can bolt the header in, hopefully. So, took a drill, we stuck a die grinding wheel in it, because we don't have air out here, so we can't really run a die grinder, and we just massaged the top of those studs a little more, and maybe that'll be enough. I also undid the exhaust altogether, because it moved on me while I was doing stuff, and then nothing lined up with anything. So yeah, you might say it's going well. I guess we'll see if it fits now. Boy, that sun is bright. Stick the old Remflex in there delicately. They work really good, but they are fragile. Look at that! We got it installed! Isn't that a happy thing? It's now 10 o'clock at night, and I had planned on installing both of these and having it back together and driving the thing to work tomorrow so I could, do a little more data logging and tuning and stuff, but that's not happening now, so I'm going to bed. I'll see you in about a second when we're back doing more things. I'm back. The plan has changed a little bit in the fact that we are just going to take all the exhaust off because we got our torque converter and we got a few pieces for the transmission and we need to get the transmission out anyways. All the fitting we've done is still useful and we didn't really waste anything, but it also means we may as well just take it right back apart, take all the exhaust off, and get the transmission out of here. We're going to tackle that for a couple hours this evening. Oops, I missed the frame. Up we go. Oh, this is not quite as nice of a jack as the one we got in the barn. Man, the floor sure is better in here. Now, if I haven't mentioned it already, we're not in the barn because avalanches in the barn. And also, because this floor is way better. Like, it's so smooth. It's still just a dirty old garage floor, but this is a surface that you can roll a transmission jack on. And that's a pretty good treat. Well, it's high enough for now, isn't it? I can tell that it's high enough because my jack won't go any higher. Therefore, it must be there. This is gonna be one of those days when my belly keeps showing. Oh well. Pull my pants up, pull my shirt down. Now the good news is, I feel like I'm already starting ahead because about half the exhaust off. And, well, that's kind of a bonus, isn't it? Well, it could have been a little higher, that's for sure. If current me could talk past me, I would have said, don't put the clamp on that way, Ethan. It'll be really hard to get off. Unfortunately, Ethan of the past did not get the message. Now the clamp's just really hard to get off. We will prevail eventually, I hope. I might have to get out from under this because I think everything's a little bit too fat. This not cooperating thing. It's gotta stop. Oh! Right in the kisser. Well, there's nobody to blame for that but me. Alright, well, that's enough of the exhaust off at least. So that's good. This Jeep, now that it's a proven bracket racer, like that could be pretty good. Is if it was just you put it in drive and you center down the road and it shifted it, you know, even if it was shifting at 5,500 full tilt, that'd be enough. We could aim for 6. That'd be better. But if we could get 55 or 6 out of it every time, I think we could win some bracket race. Maybe I'm just optimistic. Okay. It's interesting to me how this has changed color so much right at the bend. It doesn't like that bend or something because it's gotten hot and crispy there, but it's okay back here. That's interesting, isn't it? Maybe that means I should double loop it there. I'll tell you one of the problems with trying to work in 2 places at once. I don't have any decent standard wrenches in here. Like, for instance, I don't have a 1/2-inch wrench out here apparently. So I guess I'll go hunting for that. I forgot how tedious pulling the drive shafts out of this thing was. The biggest issue is you can't get anything but a wrench. It gets so boring. What are you doing, Elvis? Why are you running around barking? Sure is a lot quieter in this garage than out in the barn. Almost feels lonely. Where's my dog? Yep, out she comes. Okay, now I won't lose the cat. Well, the worst part about this Jeep is every time I take it apart and I find something wrong, there's only one guy to blame. That's me. Alright, so we've got the exhaust off, drive shafts out, we got the thing on stands, I guess. Being a school night, we'll call that good. We'll see you in a second. Ooh. Your breath stinks. Well, it's been a couple days, but we're back at it again. We're gonna start by dumping all the fluid out of the transmission, because that needs to happen, right? Right? Hey, don't lick my face. What is there to be so happy about? I'll tell you one thing, having this light, that is a game changer. Like that. Need my ratchet. Come on. Where are you? There you are. First, we get the ones that are hard to get. Then we get the ones that are easy to get. Now the trick for these automatic deals is put your drain pan at the lowest part and you leave the highest part with the bolt still in it. And then hopefully all the fluid starts draining out of the lowest part, sort of one corner. And you won't make a giant mess, you'll just make a little mess. There we go. Look at that. Most of it's even going in the pan. We'll let that drip until it slows down. Oh, except the big mess right there. Oh, yeah. No, it's all gone wrong now. This is my garage floor. This is how it starts. Oh, no. On the plus side, the fluid still looks really good. Good thing I didn't bother trying to contain it to put it back in. I could have saved a couple bucks. Oh, well. Filter off too. Stay there. Well, the bits aren't big bits, except maybe that one. Well, at least there's not lots of big bits. We know it's not new anymore, and she might be a little hurt. It's not going to stop us from stuffing it back in until we get our rebuilt one together. Yeah, it isn't so bad, is it? It's just a little bit. Okay, now that we've drained it, just gonna throw the pan back on, and then we'll commence to pulling it out, I guess. Now, like, we are gonna put that transmission back together regardless of what we found in the pan, and we're gonna put a converter in, and an accumulator, and a shift kit, since I have one. I don't think that'll fix its problems, but maybe it'll be good enough for a little while anyways. We have another one that we're waiting on some parts for, but for now, hopefully this one will do. For those of you that didn't watch early on Instagram of this thing, I'm going to show you another one of the Jeep's pièce de résistance, which with the removal of about 9 screws, gives you access to all the bell housing bolts, almost all the T-case bolts, and what we're looking for right now, the front drive shaft bolts. And it's easy now, all of a sudden. Every car should have that. Like, why isn't this not in everything? It just, like, it probably saves you 3 hours. That might be exaggerating if you're fast at taking transmissions out. Okay, see? Now I've got into everywhere. I can get to the drive shaft. I can get to the T-case bolts. Up there, I can get to all the bell housing bolts. It's basically beautiful. Okay, we undid a bunch of annoying bolts. We did the annoying things. The starter's out, most of the bolts are out. At this point in time, we're ready to pull this cross member out, the T-case, and there's 2 bolts holding the transmission in, and it's out. Now we had to reposition our jacks and get this thing sort of level on the ground, and it's better than it was. Also, I'm really hoping I can hand bomb this T-case, because I think I did last time. I can't really remember. We'll see, I guess. Now dangling, pull these 2 bolts, cross member out of here. Why should there be any shame in using a jack? I think that's okay if I use a jack. Why do I remember this being light and easy, and now it seems hard and difficult? Not just one or the other, but hard and difficult. Lift it up and pull it back. Maybe I'll get off the creepy. Well, I hope I got it, because I got it now. Oh, feel me now, hand. Come on, baby. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a little heavier than I expected. Get off of me. Oh, boy. Whew. Right in my dingus. Oh. So what was happening was this drive shaft that I never removed was stuck on the transmission jack. And then when I pulled it free, it really pulled free. That's okay. It's out now. Nobody is injured more than they were before, so we're good. Oh boy. That was a big thump of rope. Throw a strap around this thing. Make sure that it doesn't go nowhere. Why is there so much rope? I'm glad I have the world's longest ratchet strap for this. 2 5/8 bolts. And then out she comes. Boy, when I put this together, I was apparently just not a fan of washers. Like, nothing has washers. Don't wear shorts. I don't wear shorts. Okay, pry bar. Okay, everything's cool. Everyone's calm. Nobody's panicked. Well, that happened quickly, but, you know, watch this. Yay! Well, that, folks, is out. Now all we gotta do is do a little switcher on this torque converter and put it all right back together again. Won't that be a treat? Good morning, Elvis. How are you? How are you, buddy? Everybody's been missing you. Hey, are you a good doggo today? What do you think? There's a bed for you. You could stay if you want, Elvis. Elvis, you could stay here if you want. Do you want to stay here, little buddy? Elvis, don't you want to stay here and hang out? Is that a no? Okay. Alrighty, folks. We've arrived at where we needed to, which is getting this thing out. Now, getting it out's easy. It usually makes a mess, though, so that's unfortunate, but not a whole bunch a guy can do about it. We might throw a couple diaper pads down, or we'll just make a mess. We haven't decided yet. I think we'll just make a mess. We'll pull it off. For those interested, this is a turbo high dramatic. I think it's called a 425. It's the same thing as a turbo 400, but it's got its own bell housing to match up to the AMC. Let's get the converter off and see how much of a mess we make. I'm going to pull it and then dump it over very quickly as to avoid making more mess, or it'll get stuck and I won't be able to get it out. Okay, easy. With control, Ethan. With control. Come on now. Ow. What are guys supposed to look at when he looks at this? Hopefully it's good. I don't know what I'm supposed to look at. That's why I bought a book. So when I rebuild the other one, I know what to look at. Okay, you're kind of at a funny camera angle, but that's the one that works. See this old converter in this box from All-Star Performance, which I have no idea if they're reputable or not, is a converter. Now I picked this converter because it was available on Amazon with overnight shipping. And it's a 3000 stall. Now I can see it and you can't. The first thing I've noticed is it's definitely been dropped because one of the ears is sort of banged up. But this is what it looks like. Isn't it little? Isn't it cute? That should work. I think this will spool faster. I hope it will. Does it look the same inside? This one for some reason has 3 like master splines and my old one does not. I think the teeth look the same. I'm not positive. We'll figure that out when we go to slam it on. If it won't go on, we'll know. A guy could get crazy and put a tape measure on it, but like my eyeball says, they're basically the same, so that'll be good enough, right? And tell you one thing, this one's way lighter, and that might be awesome. Here's the ear that's in question. It's clearly been dropped right here. I could send it back. I'm sure they would return it for me, but also, you know, I've got today to work. So what we're gonna do instead is find a block of wood. Somewhere here. Yeah, that. We'll set it there. We're gonna take this punch, and we're gonna put it in backwards. And we're just gonna make that whole round again. There. Now it's basically as good as new. Just needs a little tap that way. Elvis, it's okay, buddy. Maybe we should get some of this cardboard off here. This one's dual drilled. One of these patterns should work for this vehicle. It looks really similar. I think it's right. But boy, is it smaller. Now this particular converter says it's a 2700 to 3000 stall. Now, according to the JAGS or Summit rule of thumb calculator for getting a torque converter, 500 RPM above what your camshaft starts working at or something like that. I looked up the specs of my cam and it says like 23 or 2400 or something, and this is 27 to 3000, so maybe that'll work. I don't know anything about automatics. Hopefully it will. Now, one thing that's really interesting about this new converter is that if you look under here, there's an original mounting tab, and there's a threaded hole in that. So if these weren't here, this converter fits something else. And I think it's really good to know that the company's making universal parts, because universal parts are always better than specific parts. They're known to work better and always fit without issues and never be a problem. So I'm sure I won't regret that decision. On the plus side, this is like a $350 converter as opposed to the $1,200 converter that I was quoted to get a custom one that would be appropriate, which is probably what I should have done, but like $300 for a guy like me seemed like enough. We are ready to throw our converter in. We've dumped like, I don't know, as much oil as I could fit into the converter in it, so we're definitely going to make a giant mess installing it, but so be it. I don't know. I spun it around inside, made sure the one part turned from the other part and didn't turn the wrong way, but I don't know what else you can check on a converter before you put it in, so we're just going to put it in. Okay. Here comes the mess. Oh, that was not so bad. All right. Okay, round you go. One. There's two. Feels like in. It's pumpulating. Cool. That wasn't so hard. I guess we just put it back in now, hey? We can do that. We took it out. We must be able to put it back in. And folks, that's just exactly what we did. Is we put the transmission back in. I forgot to film it. And then we put the T-case back in, and I still forgot to film it. Then we put the exhaust back on, and I didn't film it. And now it's, well, basically almost together. We're going to put it back down. We'll throw some spark plugs in it and some trans fluid, and I propose we drive it out of the driveway. I propose we drive it out of the garage, and then we maybe just try that converter out. It's the last day I can return it if it's faulty, so gotta do her tonight. There's a last minute tech tip for those of you on a budget like myself. If you can find a decent, like, sort of small town mechanic shop that buy in bulk, if they're the honest sorts, you can buy ATF off of them, and it'll be significantly cheaper than it is at, like, Walmart or your Napa or whatever. Only catch is you gotta bring your own jug. Wonder how much I should put in. I think at least start with 5 liters. Plus I put almost 2 in the converter. How much do you think I put in? Not as much as I want to have. Do I hear it running out on the floor? We're gonna say half a jerry can of ATF. That's how much we're gonna start with. Big moment has arrived, folks. We're gonna start it and see if it moves. Well, first we're gonna start it, let it run, then check the fluid. Then we'll put it into gear and see if it moves. We just went around the block quick, and I remember saying to myself when I was under there, boy, you really ought to put a hanger on that exhaust. It's gonna fall off. There's nothing holding it on. So yeah, it made like one pull to 5,000 RPM and it blew off. I got out of it because it was really loud all of a sudden. But I think the transmission still has all of its gears, and it definitely has a lot of converter now. So that's pretty exciting. So everyone's on the same page. You are officially caught up to within 12 days of Miles of Mayhem. Next week, you're gonna see a video of, well, Buddy Kyle and me, like, we'll just have a combined effort, whatever else is left that we're going to get done. And the week after that starts, well, Miles of Mayhem. And with a little bit of luck, you'll get daily videos of some sort or another. I don't know if they're going to be shorts or like 10 minutes longs or, well, they'll be whatever we can manage. It sort of depends how it goes. But anyways, thanks for watching this episode. We'll see you next time. You can get off now. It was nice that you came over here for the picture, but it's really hot, Luna. Luna, get off of me. Luna. Good girl.